This video is for second part with installation using the YAM for work at home on AWS. Last time we already did this one, the first part, right? Installed the 19C user YAM on AWS. And then for this video will be covered number 2 and number 3. We're going to use the way 19C. There's a new way to install create a database or assemble database. We are going to try that way. Also, we are going to use the traditional way we did 11G, 12C, 18C to create a database under this YAM installed workload software. Okay. Quickly, it's later after that, we're going to give the difference on the file system between the traditional runInstaller and the YAM installation. So let's see the second part. We'll create a database. Okay, here's the second part for this YAM installed work at home. Underneath, we're using the new way to create a database. Also, I'm going to use the old way we do to create a database. By now, I increased the space to 18 GB now, so hopefully we do not have any issue with it. Then the first things we're going to do is to using the tradition, meaning the new way they have to create one database. That take quite a long time, and then it's probably just doing the procedures to show you how it works, and then after that I'm going to switch to a traditional way to see if we use 11G, 12C, 18C, the traditional method to create a database using script to see if it works or not under this YAM installed work at home. So we are going to create one CDB, one PDB. Now let's go there using the new way. They have file. This is the file to configure, right? And configure. So run it. We're got an issue for last time I showed you. Issue we got is the port is using. Use, right? I've told you this is not the problem port is using. It actually is the bug. It is a very weird things. How the word is actually it's related to the host. You know, what was the handle long trying to find any the other setting is wrong or not, not solved. So I go work with support to check. Oh, they know this already. The problem is the host name. I'm going to show you how to set up the host name. You have to use your IP address, also your long host name with the shorter one. Set up host name, solve this issue. Okay, here's the configure file. I already tried one more time to show you, say if you replace it, anything else, say like 1525, you got the same issue. I was struggling for this issue for quite a long time because I don't know what's the problem. It seems the port is never used, but it just claim again. So I checked this arrow DBT 06103 on the internet and found the solutions in the this I still try. Replaced several times. Replaced with something else to see if say any port over high region it works or not. It's like 8. Usually 8 over 8 is fine. Lower one will be used for something else. The result is same. 8,000 would be pretty safe for all of my applications like Tomcat. Everything is using 8,000 or so. The same arrow, the DBT 06103. That's the problem. So if I try to find what is really, I found it's can ping host. The host is fine. If you look into this host name, it should be fine too. This is a private one. I try to figure out because there's in Amazon AWS they have different IP. They have a private IP, public IP, using different way. But it looks like 10.0.192.72 is the one for the IP address. But the only thing is okay. So this is a long form for public one. Oh no, I think it's a private one. It's not a public one. So the solution from Oracle is to put in the etc host file and then IP address, long form and short form for this host name. If we got this one set up, we can bypass the issue. It's really weird. The port issue actually is related to this setting. I really don't know why, how it happened. The only thing I can conclude is that in their executable, they hard coded something like this to check the port. For some reason, it's wrong. Okay, let's do it again to see what happened now. Running this new way. I already explained to you for the last time is in part 1. It is looking for there's one configure file, only 3 parameters, but another one is they're using DBCA template file to do it. Okay, so by now it's working. Let me see, I probably okay, the database instance is started. Nothing is set up. So work at home should be around here. It's production 19C. DB1. Yeah. Got everything. So let's create one, the environment file. For that SID, work at home also pass. won't be shutting the path, so I can see all of executable. For the database called CDB. A set environment. Should be able to see it. Okay, I can see the executable now. It says running, right? It takes quite a long time to create it, so I probably going to, because the videos I try to keep it not really longer than 20 minutes or maybe it's 25. So this way you can create a database, but later we're going to try traditional way, which is we're using in 11G, 12C, and 18C to see how can we do this. It should be same thing like before. So now let's do this. First we create one initial file. We create one CDB, right? This initial file we're going to use. And it's a traditional way. Create initial file, start it, and create SP file too. So, and then you can start create a CDB running the script. Change it, but it doesn't matter. Here you're logging those Oracle. Before you're logging as a root to running that, create a database method, right? By now, because you're logging with Oracle to create a database, which is a traditional way to do. We call database called the CDB one. Let's try this one. Okay, we'll set up in it doesn't matter, so check all information. Startup, no mount, cannot do it. Shut down it. First, just to start instance, no mount, and then we can run the script. Script is to create a CDB script. I already have it now, so okay, process has started. I see the file cdb.sql is the one I'm going to use. Now set up properly. Okay, this one's another issue. This one need to called enable pluggable database, and then when you set up this in your database instance, then you can avoid this issue or a 65093. So far I do not have SP file, so create SP file from P file. Then running same thing, old system. This ARM the trail system is very slow. I showed you before, only have one CPU, 1 GB memory. That's why it's so slow, this system. But now should we, yeah, okay. And we'll do this. System, we bounce it again. Make it a tail effect. When we start again, this enable pluggable database should be there. And then we can avoid that workaround error. Okay, started. Let's show the parameter to see. Enable one. Now enable. Here is the script I'm using called the CDB. It's typical one. And you basically pass the password, then indicate where is the file, what is size it, and then I modify it for in my case. Okay. Put everything under OPT work or URI date. That's where it goes. Well, it is a good idea to separate this log file, right? A and B on different location. But for my demo, for purpose, it's okay. I just try to see if we can install everything under this new worker home that was created by Yang. Sorry. It's not up, I think. It's done. Yeah, it's not up. It just needs that up. No mount. And then, okay, we're running this again. See, I got an arrow. Control for how. Yeah, we gotta remove everything. I create a file to remove everything so we can start from refresh. Should be clean. No mount. Usually for the CDB, the small size, PDB small size, will be not take very long. Should be able to down in several minutes. see in the log file to see what is going on. Might take several minutes, should be fine, but usually it is really quick. CDB 1. Okay, let's see what is in the file now. Database created. Okay, CDB is fine now. So before we see, select from the $1 database. Okay, CDB is created, right? We have one PDB seeds create using that template file in this, template of the one we modified. Okay, the next one. CDB is already, by now, we try to think about the more traditional way to do the PDB, create one PDB, which is a pluggable database that held by the CDB. How file called pdb.sql created? No. It's very simple. But the only thing is that we're using the seeds to convert to the PDB1. The directory so that PDB seeds was created by the file I'll show you in the template. So PDB is just to convert from it. Okay, this database created, and then we can see PDB1. So by now we're in the PDB. It's CON name. It's PDB1, right? So we have a CDB PDB create in traditional way, which just means that actually there's no big deal for you install use ARM, you install use the runInstaller, but runInstaller did give you more choice. You can select from, but for you use a YAM install, basically it is everything controlled by the worker. They create a database home where they are. Maybe they have some way to create it, as you indicated, but I didn't spend time to figure it out. So I just take anything default. But it's easy. You're basically running two scripts, right? Pre-installation, and then the next one will be install the worker home. You're done. Not like a runInstaller, I have to look into all the parameter, how do you set up you set up also your RPM package manually. So this is what happens in the old way. So by now you can see when we set up everything, the systems I just told you before is exactly like what we have, which is traditional way we install with runInstaller. By now, you can see the directory setup is exactly the same, or a inventory, faster recover area, admin, or a date, exactly what is before, right? Only things is they installed under /opt instead of say we did like a U01 or something else. Wallet is the same thing. It's putting this directory called ORCL CDB directory wallet. So diagnose directory, it is the alert files, also trace files, everything's there. CDB files, PDB should be. So by now you already know. So how we can use this one? Use yum install the database. Yum install the software. Basically, it is very simple. The data structure is same thing. PDB and the PDB seed. We converted exactly the same 5 files. You can see the CDB files. ETC directory is usually the workload. There's 2 files there. It is same thing. But the only thing is they have init.d directory for the new one. Inside there's the new way. How can you create a sample database? If you want to use that way, you can play with it. It's pretty easy. As I explained to you, it's running one script provided by root. And then that one is going to call your work home DBCA template. You play with the different template. You can create different database like a data warehouse or online transaction database. You can change any parameter there, so as you need it. It looks like workflows more and more they're going to the way as to try to avoid GUI tools. By doing this yum install, it will be similar like I installed the MySQL Tomcat. It's more easy in the future. Hope you like this video. Okay, see you.